Shalom, family. Daily read. You know what? That's the whole point that a lot of people are making, not only here in America, but globally. It's a lot to be said, and it's shameful. Now everybody is retreating, and the people that were boasting before, they're not so boastful anymore, are they? Shalom, Brandy. All right, we're just going to give it a few more minutes for more people to come in. Okay. Shalom, family. Shalom to everybody in the chat. Okay. Shalom, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. The thing is, now you can do these live streams virtually anytime you want. The thing is, now you can do these you can do live streams virtually anytime you want now, because nobody's working. Before it was like, okay, let me do it at 6 or 7 o'clock. Maybe everybody will be home. But now everybody is home. Certainly don't have that issue anymore. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We got, between my two channels, we have 154 people. So you're not going to see the same number on each channel because, ultimately there's always more people on my main channel than my secondary channel. But welcome to everybody. Welcome. We're going to talk about a couple of things today, including 5G, that 5G that everybody's on. I got even more information on that as well. So without further ado, let's get started, family. America is not going to bounce back from this. Thank you, Art. Thank you so much for the super chat. Love you too. Ladies and gentlemen, America has failed on the world stage. We have looked at the falling in the market, their stock market. We have seen the business sector in this country collapse. It has collapsed. Don't let anybody tell you that it didn't. You went a whole month without any good revenue. This shit has collapsed. It has collapsed, y'all. And after this whole thing is over, you mark my word, nobody is going to trust America's leadership. After looking at your doctors crying, your nurses crying because there's not enough supplies for them, they have to go around highly contagious people. I've seen them talk about they took trash bags with them to work to use the trash bags. I mean, this is ridiculous. You don't even hear this kind of complaining coming out of Africa. Now, they spent a greater hundreds and centuries of years laughing about Africa. But at the end of the day, Africa ain't over there crying over the same things that we see America crying over. America's stock market on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, tanked. You know why it tanked? It tanked over the unemployment that we're seeing. Because so many people, nearly 10 million people, have tried to apply for unemployment in a short period of time. And because of that now, the whole place has collapsed. America think they're going to bounce back from this. There is no bouncing back from this. Ask the people that have been under the judgment for 500 damn years. Ask us. We can tell you. we can tell you what this is. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody's going to trust America's leadership, but they want to remain in the leadership seat and believe they are justified staying in the leadership seat, and they're not at this point. You watch, you mark my word. I know what I'm talking about. Nobody is going to be led by America again. They won't accept it. Okay. These other countries are doing way better. Africa don't even have a fraction of cases of what you see in America. And you don't see Africans all over TV crying about supplies, crying about masks, crying about gloves, crying about ventilators. You don't see them doing that. And you know what? You won't. You won't. They got a few cases, but they got those cases under control. You know, but you can't say that no one can speak about America. Yes, they can. The only thing we have seen these high IQ people consistently do in America is panic shop. We have seen them panic shop for about a month. That's probably the only consistent thing we have seen, panic shopping. And one of them had the nerve to say to me, how dare you say something? We're only trying to take care of our families. Really? Really? So you mean to tell me the whole time you've had a family, you had to panic shop in order to take care of them? And no more of this. We need them. We need them. Ladies and gentlemen, we're all in isolation, looking after ourselves and our families. We're isolated now. What's the excuse of we need them? We're all isolated, looking after ourselves and our own family. Need you how? Okay, I need you how? So, you know, all that stuff is now going to get quashed during this whole time. We haven't seen no leadership out of these people. Look at Trump. Oh, we only got 15 cases and we'll have 0 by next week. Did that happen? Did that happen? Okay. Did anybody see that happen? We had 15 cases and 0 the following week. Did anybody see that happen? No, leadership has been extremely poor. It's been poor. And again, this is being done on the world stage. I've watched several of the videos that these doctors and nurses have done in these hospitals, and these folks are falling apart. They are also saying if the hospital systems take even more people, which they will, because this thing has not been resolved and there's no cure for it. If they take even more people, it will completely collapse. Now, I want you to think about this, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the nation of the claim of high IQs. This is what they've been claiming all this time. How come there's not one single hospital in America that is specialized in pandemics? A nation of 330 million people, and not one single hospital in the land is specialized in pandemics. Not One. Not one. Why is that? Seriously, y'all got high IQs. You've been saying this forever now. There's not one hospital in America specialized in pandemics. Not one. Number two, how come these doctors and nurses went to medical school, spent years in medical school, got their license, and not one has been trained to handle a pandemic? You all need to get a refund. You need to get a refund. The only thing I ever see when I see these doctors and nurses, when they're talking, I see the panic look on their faces. Panic look. Now it done got to the point, y'all, if a doctor complains about the lack of medical supplies, they fire them on the spot now. Did y'all know that? Doctors are getting fired left and right around this country because they're complaining about the lack of medical supplies, and they are now getting fired. Hey, look at what happened at Amazon. Amazon went on strike. It was a Black man that was a manager there that led the strike. They didn't have the proper equipment. They had no masks. They had no gloves. People were coming in there sick, and they protested. He also was complaining about the sick pay. They fired that brother. He got fired. So now, if you are still working and you work for what they call an essential company, if you complain, they are now terminating you for complaining. Yes, I do know that Marshall Million Films, they fired the Navy commander for complaining. See, that's what they're doing. That's the new thing they're doing in the land now. Anybody that complains, you get terminated. So there's a couple of things I want to go over with you, and we're going to get into 5G. And instead of y'all coming on, running around trying to convince somebody on 5G, contact your phone carrier to see if it's even in your area. Most of the country don't even have 5G, but we're going to talk about that. Now, I called my phone company and questioned them on 5G. How many of you that are believing this is 5G, how many of you contacted your wireless carrier to ask about 5G? How many of you did that? Or you just taking the word of what you saw on a video? How many of you actually called your phone carrier to ask questions about 5G? How many of you have done that? How many? Okay, well, I did. I did those things. And I'm going to talk to you about 5G because I was asking, where did 5G come from? Who came up with 5G? And when was it first implemented? Where is it located? Is it in my state? New Jersey does not have 5G, y'all. But we have some of the biggest cases of CV in the nation right now. When I turn on my phone, I have 4G LTE, and that's what it says. It does not say 5G at all. And I'm finding out it don't say 5G for most of this nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just talk about a few things. Now, because it was such a bad day on Wall Street this past Friday, I went to look at some of, the news that came out about the stock market. And there was one that really stood out that the Wall Street Journal put out. It says, the month CV felt American businesses. March began with 11 years. They were boasting about for 11 straight years they had gains. They had gains. Ladies and gentlemen, all of those gains have been wiped out in 1 month. All of it. The 11-year gains are no more. They are gone. Gone. And it was swift. It was done in 1 month. 11 years of profit wiped out in 1 month. These industries out here are never going to be the same. Never. Never. You know, America is like, America's trying to function on E right now. The tank says E, and they are still trying to function on E. All right, so by the end of the month, 10 million had lost their jobs. And they said this is going to go up as more and more states feel the effects of CV. So 10 million, this could go way off the charts. America right now is potentially looking at a 30% unemployment rate. You know how huge that is? But see, they were always lying about the black unemployment. Remember, they were running around here talking about the black unemployment has been the lowest and all this BS they were running around. And we kept saying that ain't true. That's one thing about us in the black community. We always know somebody that's unemployed. So you ain't going to pull that mess with us about unemployment. We know unemployment firsthand. And we know some of the people around us and people in our own families that are unemployed. So, you know, you can forget about trying to pull that one off with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, they are talking about this past Friday, yesterday, the stock markets did so bad, and they're blaming it on the recent hit of unemployed people. That's what they blamed it on. You know, they got to always blame it on something. You know, we know that. This is how they roll. And they're talking about the airlines. All of the airlines in America are on the verge of bankruptcy. People ain't hardly traveling anymore. Folks are scared. And many of these folks traveled for business. They went to where their job sent them to different locations. Well, that's not going on anymore. That's not going on no more. Okay? It's not going on anymore. Just in 1 month, America's e-commerce has damn near been wiped out. So America Commerce were shutting down, seeking government aid. So they're all begging and crying for the government to come and help them out. There are many restaurants shutting down, ladies and gentlemen, because they can't make it on takeout only. Many of them can't. People are not coming to buy that takeout food like they used to. And it's going to get less and less as the country goes on unemployment. People are not going to be spending their money on that stuff because they're now going to have to be on a tight budget to make it. They're not going to have a choice. They're not going to be able to go out there and splurge on that stuff like they have a full-time job. They can't. Many places of employment, some that are even essential, are shedding their staff. They have to let some people go, wondering if their business ever made sense in the first place. Countless small enterprises have failed. As of Friday, 7,000 Americans were dead of CV. 7,000 Americans as of this Friday. So it's taking a big toll, and they expect the toll to increase in the coming weeks. So everybody have locked their dining areas, including McDonald's. You know, even the one by me have a sign up saying, you can go in there and get food, but you can't sit down and dine in the place anymore. They got those areas roped off. Malls and movie theaters are now dark across America. Disney has closed its doors. Detroit auto factories closed. Professional sporting events suspended. And the Olympics postponed. All of those things occurred in March. All of it. All of it. How you doing, Tareen? Hotels, Marriott, one of the big chains of hotels, have stopped paying tens of thousands of employees. People are not staying in hotels anymore. Hotels have closed their doors. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you went through a long power outage, you would not be able to go to a hotel. You're not going to have a choice but to stay at your house now. Wow. Stocks are struggling to keep up. And now the analysts are saying just never seen anything like this before. And they're noticing how fast everything has taken a turn in America. America's 500 biggest public companies were worth $3 trillion less. Listen to me now, $3 trillion less than in the beginning of March. 500 public companies, the top ones in America, are now worth $3 trillion less from the beginning of March to the end of March. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going back. Just understand that. I want everything to go back to normal. It's not. What you're looking at is the new normal in America. You being isolated at home. This is now the new reality in America. As long as this thing has the potential to keep spreading, it will. And, and there was some things I actually learned about the Spanish flu, ladies and gentlemen. What I found out, do you know how they talk about asymptomatic people, where people will have CV, but they don't show any of the signs, and they're able to function and live normally because their bodies are not feeling the effects of the virus at all, although they are testing positive. Well, ladies and gentlemen, during the Spanish flu, do you know there were people symptomatic back during the Spanish flu too? That's how it spread so far and wide in the country. There were a lot of people carrying the flu, but they weren't feeling the effects of it. And it ended up wiping out 50 million people worldwide. 50 million people How did it spread so quickly? Asymptomatic people, people that were not feeling a thing, but they were the carriers of that virus. And that virus, ladies and gentlemen, just like Tareen said, and I did a slide on this, began in China. The Spanish flu started in China, and we're going to get on China too. We're going to get to China because those wet markets in China are still open. They have never shut those wet markets down completely. They are still functioning in China right now. And they're saying that's why, China eating any and everything. That's why you're going to continue to see these viruses come right out of China. Yes, the Spanish flu came out of China. And CV has come out of China. Yes, those wet markets are filthy, Hood Mistress Reloaded. It sure is. And they are still open. China got those markets open and they're still selling, and it's disgusting. When they showed it on TV, it was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Well, they said the Spanish flu also came from an animal. Did y'all know that? The Spanish flu came out of China, and it also was animal to human transmission. Did y'all know that? Okay. So, as long as they're over there eating crap, you can best believe those viruses are going to keep coming. Yeah. They believe it came from a rodent or something over there, the Spanish flu. Okay. Now, China is trying to keep their numbers under wraps, y'all. So they are admitting that they have underreported their cases in the official count that came out of China. They're admitting they know they did underreport the cases over there. And China is now trying to pretend like they got 0 cases over there. And I'm going to show you they're lying about that too. They are lying. There was an article that came out in the New York Times, and it says that China is over there having quiet burials. Quiet burials. Okay, so if you conquered this thing and you claim, you're coming up with 0 cases, why the hell are you having quiet burials over there in China? What the hell is up with that? You know why? Because these people are still dying and China is just not telling you. But yeah, China pushes for quiet burials as CV death toll is questioned. The world is now questioning China. Wait a minute. It didn't slow down in our locations. It's still here. People are still getting it. How did it slow down for you? And you notice China's not telling the rest of the world how they slowed it down. What did you do? What did you give the people? How did you stop it? How is it that we're seeing it everywhere on the planet, but you're claiming you shut it down? But now you're doing quiet burials. China is full of shit. Okay, so this article, y'all, came out April 3rd, 2020. April 3rd, 2020. Officials are trying to curb expressions of grief and control the narrative and doubts about the official number of deaths in China. So you can have your funeral in China, but y'all be quiet. Don't you tell anybody about it. Y'all shut up about these funerals. Man, these people ain't no more trustworthy than your average American government over here. Just a steady stream of lies. A steady stream of lies, y'all. Yes, I did. The True Royal Family. I did get your video. I did get that email. I mean, yeah. So you can't trust it. You know, this should tell you, you absolutely cannot trust anything that China is telling you. I just don't believe that. I think if they got rid of this thing, we should see nations by now getting rid of it too. China is just trying to make themselves look like they're bigger than life and they are just so smart and they conquered this thing. They are lying. That's why they're having quiet funerals over there. And people are still dropping dead left and right over there, and they know it. All right, let's get into 5G. Now, I was asking, like I said, I called my phone carrier to find out about 5G, ladies and gentlemen. And I found out 5G originated in China. It originated in China, ladies and gentlemen. It was rolled out there November 1st, 2019. That's when it was rolled out over in China. It came here to the US, but it's only really technically a handful of places that have 5G in the US. I'm going to show you this map because it's not really a lot of reading or anything. All right, let me hold on one second. Let me see if I can share my screen with you. How you doing?
Are you streaming?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. You want something?
No. I was just gonna say, I slept really bad.
Okay.
I only got 1 hour of sleep. So what I'm gonna do?
You want to take something?
No, I got something. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna take my vitamins, and probably like around 1 or 2, I'm gonna take a pee and go to sleep.
Okay. All right, y'all. All right, let's get back to this. Now, can everybody see my screen? Can everybody please give me a 1 if you can see my screen? Give me a 1 if you can see the screen, y'all, because we're going to talk about 5G. All right. Okay. Now, when I called my phone carrier, y'all, thank you for all the ones. When I called my phone company about 5G, the one thing they told me was, as of now, 5G was not in my state. And I want you to see this, and I don't want you to think I'm showing you some old shit, okay? I'm not. This is as of February 2020. It's right here, February 2020. So this is a recent map. This is AT&T's coverage of true 5G. This is what they offer. And as you can see, it's only in, really, compared to the whole country, it's not in a lot of places when you look at this map. So I want you to see this map. It's only in a handful of places. It's not in New Jersey at all. Here's my state. It's in New York City. And it's in Philadelphia. Those are the dots around my state, but in the state of New Jersey, we're still 4G LTE. And if you've been following CV, you know that it's pretty bad in the state. It is pretty bad in my state. In fact, I just found out as of yesterday, it's 12 cases in my actual town. 12 cases in the town that I live in. So you can see they're in some of the main cities. New York got it in the city of New York and also in Rochester. It's in Buffalo, New York. And Pennsylvania is only in 2 places, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It's in Baltimore. It's in DC. You can see Detroit. It's only in 1 area in Detroit, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Louisville, and Birmingham. So that's it. Okay. And then you have Las Vegas, San Francisco, San Jose, Los Angeles, and San Diego. And as you can see, Alaska and Hawaii, they have nothing on this map. Yeah, it's only in Detroit in Michigan. That's it. It's not in other parts of Michigan. It's only in Detroit. That's it. So if you live outside of that area, chances are you don't have 5G, especially if you don't live near Detroit. You wouldn't have it. Do y'all understand? Okay. No, my point, what's my point? Okay, Stephen, let's talk about my point. My point is y'all are running around here screaming about 5G, and 5G is not even in most of the country. So how do you explain all of this high number of people in New Jersey with CV, and New Jersey don't even have 5G? Explain it. What's your point? Bring your point out. You're not saying nothing. So what? What is that? That ain't no information. So what? Ain't no damn information. Give us some info. Give us some information. How come these maps look like most of the country don't have it? Why do these maps look so damn empty, Stephen? Come over here with that bullshit. No, you just mad because everything you're saying is getting quashed right now. And you know it. That's why you're getting all pissy. All right, so here's another coverage that AT&T offers. Again, the vast majority of the country don't even have it. So if 5G is causing this, and I wouldn't doubt that it's causing some kind of health infliction, because you're talking about cell phone waves, right? So anything the devil puts together, you're going to always have some kind of side effect to it, right? They don't make anything that don't give you a side effect. Okay? It don't give you everything they give you, even their pills have side effects to it. And some of those side effects are deadly. So do I think 5G is causing some health problems? Yes, I do believe that. But it still don't explain why you don't see it in areas that have a high number of CV. All right, so this is AT&T. Now let's look at Sprint. Sprint has even less locations. They got New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Kansas City, Chicago, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. That's it. That's all the 5G they offer in the whole nation. And again, look at most of the map don't even have 5G. The fact that 5G came from China, you best believe I think something's wrong with it. Yes. Yes. Okay. But, you know, it's not enough in the country to have the impact that people are saying. Do I think it could give you some health problems? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so Sprint offers it, but it's in even less locations than AT&T. Now, this is T-Mobile. Now, wherever you see the lighter shades, they have 5G. Where you see darker shades, that's where they have 4G LTE, which is what I have. 4G LTE. All right. And these black areas, they don't have it. They don't have it at all. Okay. So as you can see, even with T-Mobile, the majority of the country don't even have it. Even on this T-Mobile map, most of the country still has the 4G LTE. That's what the majority of the country still have. Verizon Wireless. Now, this is my carrier, ladies and gentlemen. This is my carrier. Again, you can see they got it in Spokane, Boise, Sacramento, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Salt Lake City. They don't have nothing in Nevada at all. Denver, Omaha, Sioux Falls, Minneapolis, Des Moines, nothing here. This whole area has nothing. They have it in Dallas and Houston, Panama, Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Greensboro, Hampton, DC. Okay, so you can see, they only have it in certain areas. It's not even statewide in the areas that it's in. Yeah, so there you have it. 5G is not everywhere. Your carrier is Sprint. Yeah, mine is Verizon. And they told me that New Jersey is not getting 5G anytime soon. That's what they told me on the phone. We're not even getting it anytime soon. Okay, they told me they couldn't even give me a date. We're not getting it anytime soon. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. But my thing is, call your phone company, whoever you get your service from, and ask about 5G. Just ask them. Okay, ask them, have a conversation with them. They'll talk to you about it. They talked to me. They didn't have any problems sharing information with me on that phone conversation about it and letting me know, no, you won't be getting it anytime soon. Shoot, I remember back in the day when I still had 3G. I remember us having 3G. Oh, cancer is everywhere, drama queen. Don't be fooled by that. Yeah, we got cancer here, but so does the rest of the country. It's cancer everywhere. It's not just in New Jersey. There's a lot of cancer up there in New York too. No, but my point is, I think anything they construct in this country will give you health problems. That's my point. But all of it coming from CV, 5G, and no, I don't believe it's all coming from there, because now you got the task of explaining why most of the country don't even have 5G, but you're saying this is where coronavirus is coming from. See, this is what Stevens ass got all butt sore over. Instead of getting mad at people, go out there and find out. I think anything that comes in your neck of the woods, you should question it. I do. I really, truly believe you should question 5G and what it can potentially do. But to say that it's all, it gave the country coronavirus when it's not even in most of the country, I don't think I believe that. Can it cause cancer? Yes, it possibly could. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that there's some health problems coming from it. I don't doubt that at all. I believe CV is a virus that jumped from animals to human. That's where I think it came from, out of China, from animal to human. And now it's human to human. And you have to ask yourself, who makes these decisions to bring something like 5G into the country? Who makes these decisions? These big phone networks, these AT&Ts and Sprints, they make these decisions. But yeah, 5G originated over in China. That's where it originally came from. But you know what? A virus can go worldwide, and it's really your people traveling that will bring it here. And that's exactly what happened. It was those people that traveled out of Wuhan and came back home, and people that traveled the world, and that's generally how it is brought from a place like China to the US. Yeah, I'm hearing that, but we haven't been in the hot months yet. So we don't know what's going to happen when the temperature gets hot with coronavirus. It's too new. We don't know that. But I did hear that from a couple of medical experts, but the way things are going in America, who's really an expert, y'all? Seriously, who's really an expert? They're claiming that in the hot summer months, it will subside, but it will not completely go away. And they're anticipating it to come back in the fall. This is what they're putting out there. Now, whether it will disappear in the hot months, we have to wait and see. This thing is too new. It's too new. We don't know what's going to happen. But one thing I can tell you, everybody ain't going back to no work on no 30th of April. I tell you that right now. They can keep setting these deadlines all they want. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to go and return back to work and do what they want. Look, anytime you see people that work for what they call essential businesses that got to stay open, and they're getting sick, go pull up the U.S. Postal Service, y'all. Those folks are getting sick. More and more of them are getting sick every single day. Those folks that work for Amazon, they're coming up positive all the time. That's why they went on strike, because people are coming in there with it. And remember, you always got asymptomatic people that can pass a CV test and they will appear negative, but they're actually positive. And it's still not able to detect that at all. Right. I heard that too. Yeremia Ben Yisrael. I heard that too. North Korea claims no cases. I don't believe North Korea. North Korea actually locked down, I think, like 10,000 people. I read online. Why did you lock all those people down and you don't have it? See, I don't believe them. I think many of those Asian nations are lying, like China, North Korea, and And South Korea, they just simply couldn't hide all of the people that had it there. They couldn't hide it. And North Korea, they can hide it. They're a closed society. So, I mean, if you're closed off from the world, sure, you can say you don't have nothing like that there in your country. Of course you can. Yeah, I read about the post offices. They're saying they're trying their best to hang on, but they may have to shut down. I did see that, King Zeke. But they're trying their best to keep their people working. But every single day, those U.S. postal workers, y'all, they're getting sick. Every day, they are getting the virus on their jobs. And that's another agency, government agency, that's complaining that they want them to continue to work, but they're not giving them the proper equipment, the medical supplies that they need. They're not giving it to them, just like Amazon is not giving it to their workers. Yeah, Fly Girl, it was bad in Japan, so bad that's why they had to cancel the Olympics. They know they can't have a bunch of people sitting in arenas all day long. You're going to kill an entire population of people doing that mess. Yeah, they're still delivering in Spiralocity. They're still delivering in my area, but up north, that's where the worst cases are. The people in New Jersey that lives closest to New York, that's where your worst cases in New Jersey are. And I wouldn't doubt if they stop delivering in those areas, because it is pretty bad up there. What a lot of people that live in New Jersey, especially the northern part of New Jersey, they are New Yorkers. They were born and raised in New York, but they have moved over to the New Jersey side and live here. And so those folks are constantly traveling back and forth to and from New York. Some of them even work in New York. They live in New Jersey, but they work in New York. So, it's sad. I hate seeing that, but what can you do? It's not like we can control CV at this time. As you can see, America's falling apart. They're not leading the world in this pandemic at all. And they can't. They can't do it. Yeah, Lions Den, you're right. Hashtag ADOS. It would be devastating. And the thing is about the U.S. Postal Service, a lot of people depend on getting checks in the mail. There's a lot of people that get their medication by mail. So there's a lot of things to consider before you shut down the U.S. Postal Service. When my mother was living, the last year she was alive, damn near all of her medicine was coming through the post office. It was delivered by FedEx to the house. And some of it was delivered by regular mail. And you got to take all of that in consideration. There's a lot of people that needs, their driver's license come through the mail, your passport that comes through the mail. Hell, I remember even my son's birth certificate. When I finally got it, it came through the mail. Okay. So there's a lot of important documentation that comes through the mail. So if you shut these people down, America will be in trouble. They will. I mean, what are people going to do if that is shut down. That's the problem. There's so many agencies that we heavily depend on. You can't put your medication on direct deposit if it comes through the mail. You can't direct deposit that. So there are some things you just can't get around. Well, they're talking about these stimulus checks may not go out. Some people may not get them until September. I was looking at some of those stories yesterday, y'all. They're talking about, you notice they keep pushing it back. First it was 2 weeks, then it was 3 weeks, then it was a month. Now they're saying that it will be 8 to 10 weeks before they go out. Now, and then I read another article yesterday that said people may not see them until September. So what good is $1,200 and you're not going to see it until the fall? What good is that? Like I said, Canada, right above us, is giving every citizen $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month. But a country like America can't do that. No, a country like America is stingy. These people have always been stingy from day one. And they're stingy now. All of the tax dollars that many of us have been paying into the system, many of us have been working. The U.S. ain't broke. If the U.S. was broke, Stephen, where did they get the stimulus money from? No, see, you're broke when we complain. Then all of a sudden everybody's broke. But you sure came up with that money without screaming broke. I don't want to hear it. No, Canada's not really the only place doing that. There's other places doing $2,000 a month for their citizens. America's not broke, and they know they're not broke, and they can go print money anytime they want. They even said that. Oh, we can go print money anytime we want. Then your ass ain't broke. The problem is they want to play both sides of the fence. If we ask for reparations, you're broke. But when you see your businesses falling apart and your world falling apart, all of a sudden you can pull trillions of dollars out of your ass. Get out of here. Okay? They like to play both sides of the damn fence. That's what the problem is. Right. They always got money to bail out a corporation, but they're broke. Get out of here. Too many mixed messages. And this is why nobody should be listening to another thing this government tells you. Some of us, when I started working, y'all, I started working at 16. I was 16 years old when I had my first job. I worked at Bamberger's. I worked at a store, department store. That was my first job. And they sure was taking taxes out of that little part-time job too. So if you've been working from a teenager all the way through your adulthood, you done paid a lot of tax dollars into this system. But for them to tell you, oh, we'll give you a one-time payment of $1,200 and, oh, you're going to have to wait until September for that. Oh, we have to stimulate the businesses because, the businesses are the ones that hire people and, and we have to stimulate then you got money, goddammit. Then you got money. Playing these old silly ass games. And on top of that, you got our money. You got our money. It's not even all yours. This government got our money and they're stingy with our money that they wouldn't even have if it wasn't for us getting out here and busting our asses and working every day and working for years. They wouldn't even have that money. No, you're not broke. You're just stingy. You're stingy. There's a difference. You're not broke. You're stingy. Yeah, well, the stimulus was never intended for the people. Just understand that's why they're giving you this little meager $1,200 because it was never intended for the people. This money is for your wealthy corporations that are now crying like a bitch because they're not making the money that they used to make. That's what the stimulus is for. It's real. They really don't care about people like me and you. They don't care about us at all. And then they will have the audacity when it's time to be elected again. They have the audacity to think you should vote for them. And they did a good thing by giving you that $1,200. And that money is really no good unless it's ongoing. But see, this is a place that's built its whole existence on capitalism. From chattel slavery all the way up until now, it was all about capitalism. Having slaves in the field and not paying them and pocketing 100% of the profit. It was all about capitalism. And that's what their stimulus is about. It's all about capitalism, given as little as possible to you, although you are the people that paid the money into this government, and give these overrated companies all this money, bailing them out. They don't need to be bailed out. They don't need to be bailed out, period. Bail your people out. Screw these corporations. It's like every 10 years they fuck up and got to be bailed out. Screw them. Let them crawl. Let them crawl a little. Maybe they'll appreciate it more. I don't believe banks should be bailed out too. If it was up to me, I wouldn't bail them out. You fuck everything up in this society and you expect to be bailed out? No, it should be no bailouts for them. You know, but see, these same people want to tell you they know how to run things. And after this whole thing is said and done, they want you to allow them to stay in charge. And they're going to have a hard time staying in charge after this whole thing is said and done. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. You know, America is like right now is that fake gold ring. When you start looking at it and seeing it all tarnished up, what do you do with it? You throw it away. Okay, you throw it away and you just say to yourself, I can either get another ring or maybe I won't get another ring at all. You toss that bitch. Yeah, I remember Craig J. I remember Obama's $600 stimulus check. But see, that's how they do the citizens all the time. Whenever something goes down and there's a stimulus or money, they always give us a meager amount. Thank you, Nature Knows. Thank you very much for the super sticker. You know, and we always get this little meager amount. I remember when George W. Bush was in office. Do y'all remember the $300 stimulus check? Some of y'all might remember that. I sure do. When George W. Bush first, it was in his first term in office, they gave everybody a $300 stimulus check. Okay. But see, that's how they have been doing the citizens in this society all along. Thank you, Chima Madu, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, you remember that, Yvonne 25? You remember that $300 stimulus check? But see, that's what we get. That's what we get. You know, and then these politicians run for office and want you to believe they've done something big. That's what they want you to believe they've done something big for us. And it's never been big. Never. You know, this is the time when you need to really step it up for your people. And you see they're failing to do that. And it just goes to show you, y'all, the people do not control the government. Now, I know they claim that's the way it is, but actually, when you look at the way the government is ran, the people really don't have much of any say whatsoever. And that's the way they want it. Yeah, yeah. And you're going to have to wait until September for that crumb, too. Yeah, you're going to have to wait until September for that crumb. No, you know, look, America can't even redeem itself at this point. You done flopped on the damn world stage with this pandemic. How can you redeem yourself at this point? You know, speaking of that, Omar Williams, you're talking about a petition for 5G. Do you know when they come along with that, it may be years before most of the country will even see that. They don't roll that out right away. That takes some time for them to even put that in your area. Do you know we did not have what's that thing that Verizon have? Fios. Okay. Do you know we didn't get that until a year ago? Fios has been out probably since like 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. Do you know we just got Fios in my town last year? And that shit has been out for well over 10 years. Well over 10 years. So 5G is pretty much the same way. Before most of the country will even see it, it may be 10 years out before the whole country got it. You certainly ain't going to see it overnight. Yeah, Fios. Believe it or not, Fios. People were talking about Fios back in 2006. My area just got Fios a year ago. Okay, a year ago. And I heard about Fios back in 2006. And on top of that, the whole area didn't even get it. Just part of the area that I'm in got Fios. The other part of it still don't have it. Yeah, Hood Mistress Reloaded. I recommend taking the meager 1,200. Yeah, most people gonna have to take it. They're gonna have to take the 1,200 that comes because we know the government ain't giving you nothing else. And the average person, you can't pay all of your bills with that. You know, when you start adding up your cable, your phone, your electricity, food, your water bill, your car insurance, your car payment, that 1,200 ain't gonna cover all of that for the average person. It's not. And remember, American money is just backed with its word. Its word, and we see how good that word has been for us for 500 years. Word ain't worth shit. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not going to be able to do much with that $1,200. It'll be gone almost as fast as you get it in most cases. As fast as you get it, it will be gone. Yeah, you know, what I think everybody need to do, and this is just my opinion, nobody got to live by anything I say, and I sure don't recommend that you do. But what I'm saying is, I think everybody is going to have to accept the fact that life is just simply not going to be the same in America. Yes, we have gotten to that point, and it'll be much easier for you to accept that nothing is going to be the same thing for you to continue to walk around and believe everything's going to go back to the way it was. Right now, the way things are going, that ain't even realistic. Life is just, it's not going to be the same in America. Because, I mean, think about this. Even, let's say it does fizzle out in the summer, it's coming back in the fall. It's a virus. All of your other viruses come back in the fall. Your colds, your flus, they all come back in the fall. This one's going to come back in the fall too. So then ultimately, you're going to have to shut everything back down. Everything's going to have to be shut back down in the fall. And I was listening to the election, and Trump is upset because he don't want the election to be done by mail. And they're already talking about how to do this election. You can't send people out standing in no long line trying to vote for somebody. You can't do that stuff, and everybody can't go in the same booth. You would have to literally sanitize the booth after every single person use it. That's not even realistic. You won't be able to send people to no poll to vote. You can't do that anymore. A paper ballot for everybody? I don't know. What happens when people don't get their ballot back in time, or ballots don't make it to people? Things get lost in the mail all the time. And if you do it online, you know how easy it is to hack people online? You can hack people, you can hack all them damn votes. So America's really in a bad situation, even for this election year. And now they have suspended all the campaigning. You can't even be out there campaigning, shaking hands with people and holding babies and all that stuff. You can't do that mess now. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, what people do at this point. The bottom line is we're going to be isolated for a long time. You just get that in your head. In fact, I was reading a story yesterday about someone else that took their life while in isolation. They had CV and they were in isolation and they took their own life. They couldn't deal with being in isolation at all. And that's going to be a lot of people, you know. By nature, we're all very social people. Some of us can handle self-isolation. I'm fine. You know, I'm not falling apart and I'm fine. But everybody is not fine with that. This is why you're seeing so many people defying this self-isolation, and they're trying to go back to the beaches, and ultimately they're getting CV. Or they're trying to get people up in the church, and those people are now contracting it too. It's very difficult for people to isolate themselves. And then for some others, it's not hard at all. But this is the way of life. This is, you know, and companies are going to be afraid to come back. Think about this. If they open the doors to their company and everybody gets CV, they don't want to take that responsibility. They don't want it. You're right, Chief Anointed Chris. You are right, because once the Most High rains that judgment down on you, man, you ain't getting out of nothing. And we know that firsthand. If you want to know what it's like to be under that judgment, come and ask one of us. We'll tell you, you ain't getting out of this. You ain't getting out of any of this. You know, you're not getting out of it. Yeah, Buffalo Gal, Medicaid for All would not do anything for CV. It wouldn't do a thing. In fact, Trump is trying to deny people to even sign up for Obamacare. I don't know if any of you saw that. He don't even want all of these unemployed people trying to get it. And these folks that are not working, eventually they're going to need health insurance. Their company might allow them to have it for the next couple of months. They may be able to have it, but eventually they're going to fall off. And they already said America is going to go from unemployed to uninsured. You're going to have a huge, massive population in this country uninsured. Yeah, there are food shortages. There will be. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are in a position to grow some things, this is the time to do it. This is the time to get that started. And it's not as hard as you think. If you got tomatoes, slice your tomatoes and put the slices in soil. Put the slices in soil. It will sprout tomato plants. It will sprout the plants. Just that simple. If you can't grow nothing else, grow some of the things that you like. If you like peppers, that's one thing I can tell y'all. One hot pepper plant, if you grow like the chili peppers, you can get 300 peppers from one plant. All you need is one plant. You can get a lot of peppers from that one plant. All you need is one hot pepper plant, and you will get multiple peppers from that one plant. You can put tomatoes in the ground. One tomato plant will give you anywhere from 20, sometimes up to 30 pounds of tomatoes. One plant can do that. One plant. So you don't need a lot. You would be surprised how much you can get from one plant. Yes. I grew hot peppers. And when I grew them, I only had 2 plants. And I had those hot peppers not only for the summer, it got me through the winter. I had so many of them in my freezer. And I got that from 2 plants. That was it. Chili pepper plants. Now, your sweet peppers, your bell peppers, you can get a lot of peppers, but you're not going to get as much as you would from a hot pepper plant. But you can still get plenty from them. You just have to plant more bell pepper plants in order to get a lot of them. So I would say, put at least 10 to 12 of them in the ground, plants, and then just you'll end up with a lot of bell peppers that way. Yeah, canning and jarring is an excellent thing to learn. Yeah, tomatoes, that plant is almost carefree. It was funny. I had a friend of mine had planted a tomato plant and it got real hot. I think we went in the upper 90s. It was like 99 degrees and the plant was all wilty and everything. And she was like, I think my plant is dead. I said, one thing about a tomato plant, that thing will look like it's practically dying. It's almost completely dead. You throw water on a tomato plant, that thing will perk right back up. It ain't dead. It'll look like that, especially in hot weather. But if you just go out there and put some water on it and water it up real good, that thing will perk right back up. And tomatoes, that is one plant that loves hot. The hotter the weather, the more you will get tomatoes. That thing loves hot weather. Wherever you put it in direct sun and put it in a place where it just gets a lot of sunlight in your yard. The hotter it gets, that plant will thrive in the heat. Another plant that thrives in the heat are your melons. Like if you have watermelon growing in your yard, watermelon thrives in hot weather. Man, the hotter it gets, you'll get a lot of melons out of that thing. The only thing is about your garden, just understand the wild animals, they like your vegetables too, like your groundhog and your you'll every now and then you'll catch one of them in there, but there's ways you can keep them out. If you got deers, the deers will come in there and they like to eat your stuff too. So unfortunately, the animals and the bugs, they like your shit too. Just understand that. They like your stuff too. Yeah, rabbits too. Rabbits are another big culprit coming in your yard, but you can get rid of them with marigolds. If you put marigolds all around your garden, they won't come near it because they don't like the smell of marigolds. Yeah, that watermelon vine will grow all the way down. I mean, that thing will get long. I have a pear tree in my backyard, and the squirrels will go all the way at the top and swipe all those pears. I can never get the ones way at the top. The tree is too high anyway. But the ones that aren't that high up, I can get those. So, I mean, we're just going to have to do things that we never did before. If you didn't garden, consider it now. You don't have to be the best person in gardening to have one, and it'll be a nice learning experience for yourself and your children too. You can get your children involved in it. They can be out in the yard helping you with the garden. So we just have to work around the situation that we're in, plain and simple. Best way to get rid of rats, they have showed up in the neighborhood. Peppermint. Spray peppermint around your location. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that is happening because people are not venturing out now. So those animals are going to pop out because people are not venturing out like they used to. So whenever an animal don't see a lot of people, they're going to come out, you know? Like I said, in my state we got bears, we got coyotes, we got cougars, and we got a ton of deers here in New Jersey, probably as many deers as there are people. So, yeah, you're going to see these animals because if they don't see a lot of people venturing out anymore, yeah, they're going to start coming out. It's a natural thing for them to think, oh, well, look, there's no people around here. Yeah, let me come on out. So, yeah, I mean, I would see that happening. Very easy thing to happen. Cedar is also good for to deter not only animals, but certain bugs don't like cedar. But peppermint, get some peppermint. Peppermint will do the trick as far as rodents are concerned. Rodents don't like the smell of peppermint. Yeah, well, everybody just keep your head up. We'll get through this. We we have gone through bad times for centuries. We'll get through this one thing too. We will. Who's more prepared for this than us? Really think about that. Who's more prepared for something like this than us? No one. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. If you got peppermint in your yard, you can actually make your own peppermint oil. I got peppermint that grow in the yard. I just got to go out there for it. It's scattered, but I got peppermint that grow in the yard. Hmm. Yeah, greens are easy. That's another one that's practically no nonsense. You can put greens out there. Shit, my dad used to grow greens, and we used to go in the backyard in the winter. The greens would still be growing in the snow, y'all. Those plants are so resilient and they can adapt to any weather. Them suckers would grow in the damn snow. Thanks, Night to Shady, for the super sticker. Thank you very much. Oh, you got chocolate mint in your yard, Christopher Clipper. See, there you go. And y'all know you can use your dandelions. Those are really good to eat or add to your salads and everything. Don't just mow over your dandelions, make some use out of it. We sure did, August Dream. That's the way I see it. We've had 400 years of practice at dealing with zero to nothing and making it something. You're right about that. Hmm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude, but thank you all for coming. I really enjoy our time together. I really, truly do. And we'll definitely do this again. But thank you, Aaliyah Lee, for the super sticker. Thank you very much. So I just want to say, everybody, just keep your head up. We're going to be okay. One thing about us, we are so resilient. We're made for this. We are made for this. And then unfortunately, there are others that are very spoiled and they are not used to facing any type of hard times. But as the financial market falls in this country, it's going to get worse. it's going to get worse. We've already gone through one whole month of them not having no real good financial gains. In April being the same, businesses shut down. Let me tell you something, even if summer came and everybody could go back to work, you would just be ultimately spending time catching up, trying to work on a backlog. You're not really going to be able to get a lot done. But everybody, please take care of yourself. Get those supplements in. Keep your immune system strong. And if you don't have a mask, look, make one. Seriously, at this point, there is no point sitting around waiting for masks to be available online. If you got any kind of bandana or some material at your house you can use, make yourself a mask. Don't sit around waiting for them to be available. Just make one. For real. Thank you, Daph, for the super sticker. Thank you. Thank you, Metho Nelson, for the super sticker. Thank you. All right, y'all. To everybody on here, Shabbat Shalom. And we'll definitely be doing this again. Peace, family.